Are we headed towards a race war? We're talking about Alabama and more. All that next. It's Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are live in the studio. I'm KJ and you have my beautiful co-hosts here, Yana, T, and Shelly E. As I always say, join the conversation by leaving a comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe to our social media, subscribe to our YouTube so you always know when we post new content. You can also check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com for up-to-date information. We are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. And guys, you guys on YouTube, we do appreciate our subscribers and our people who do the, what's the name of it? The comments.
Pop and Politics Live.
No, the super comments.
Super chatters.
Super chatters. I had like a brain, whatever. Super chatters. So keep those coming. We do appreciate it. Share this broadcast and subscribe. All right, ladies, let's set it off.
Did you say beautiful? You said, look, my beautiful house.
Oh, maybe I had to say beautiful.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
No, I don't go like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to start right off tonight with Neyo. So, news has been he's been all over the news lately. Neyo, Grammy award-winning singer and writer Neyo, spoke out against the trans agenda. According to the New York Post, during an interview on Vlad TV, the Miss Independent singer shared his thoughts on why parents have forgotten their roles. He said, "I feel like the parents have almost forgotten what the role of parent is," he began. "If your little boy comes up to you and says, 'Daddy, I want to be a girl,' you just let him rock with that?" He went on a big rant about this. He's gotten kind of some praise and some backlash and issued a written statement of apology. So, however, the very next day, he had this to say. Take a look.
What's going on, loved ones? This is Neyo. All right, listen. I normally don't give too much of a damn about what y'all think about what I do, what y'all have to say about what I say, whatever. I normally don't care because, like I said, opinions ain't special. Everybody got one. However, this is something I feel very strongly on, and I need y'all to hear this from the horse's mouth, not the publicist's computer. So check this out. First and foremost, I do not apologize for having an opinion on this matter. I am a 43-year-old heterosexual man raising 5 boys and 2 girls, okay? That's my reality. Now, if my opinion offended somebody, yeah, sure, I apologize for you being offended because that wasn't my intention. My intention is never to offend anybody. However, I'm entitled to feel how I feel. I'm absolutely entitled to feel how I feel the same way you are entitled to feel how you feel. I ain't asked nobody to follow me. I ain't asked nobody to agree with me. I was asked a question and I answered the damn question. Okay. I have no beef with the LGBTQIA plus community whatsoever. I ain't got no beef with y'all. Do whatever the hell it is you want to do. Do what you want to do with your kids. However, somebody asked my opinion on this matter, and this is how I feel. I will never be okay with allowing a child to make a decision that detrimental to their life. I will never be okay with that. I don't care. I definitely plan to educate myself a little bit more on this matter. However, I doubt that there's any book anywhere or any opinion that somebody's going to tell me that's going to make me okay with letting a child make a decision like that. That's just period, point blank, and that's how I feel. If I get canceled for this, then you know what? Maybe this is a world where they don't need a Neo no more, all right? And I got no problem with that. I'm a hustler, all right? I'll figure it out. I got kids to raise, and I'm going to do that regardless. So with that being said, y'all have a good day. I love everybody. Live how you want to live, love how you want to love, but your opinion is yours. Speak your opinion as much as you damn well feel like it. Because as I said, they're not important. They're not special. Everybody.
Wow. Okay, ladies. So Neyo gave his opinion. I want to hear from you all, starting with you, Shelly.
Well, let's see. I think Neyo is right, even if that's his opinion. We all have ours. But I don't even know why he had to apologize initially. I don't think he should have done that. He did apologize initially. Seen our apology before he gave the second apology. He's apologizing for the apology. However, I agree with him. I think that Neyo represents maybe to some degree Black men, and hopefully they are beginning to take a stance on whatever side, but at least they're speaking their voice. But one other thing I want to say, for Black people or the public at large, why does it take a celebrity for us to respond and take for credence? I'm not saying that he's lying or anything, but why do we need his word or his co-signing of what the things that we know are right for children? Please tell me.
Okay. I want to get your thoughts on this, Yana. I mean, one thing I would say is I think the celebrities, they have the spotlight. So, everyone, it brings it to attention. So if you say it or if I say it, even though we do, like, for instance, if we say it, we have this platform to say it and see people, but he talks to millions. So when he says something like this, it actually rings bells. What are your thoughts, Yana?
I mean, as far as I know, he didn't apologize personally. It was his publicist. And I guess publicist was doing damage control because we live in this environment where you're not supposed to say things like this. You cannot speak against the alphabet mafia. You will get canceled. So I guess the publicist was trying to care for that. And so I'm glad that he came out and explained that he doesn't apologize. And I want to see more of this. Like, so not just celebrities. I do want to see men, fathers. It's good that he brought up that he's a father, and where are they? I mean, fathers do need to stand up because we have talked about on the show that it's women who are kind of spearheading the transgender movement. They're the ones who are like basically grooming and transitioning their kids. So the fathers need to stand up and listen to this, and I need to see more of that.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, T?
Absolutely. These are the type of men that women want to see take control and get into their place. These are the type of men that Kanye, President Trump, Neyo, now Ice Cube, these are the men who are unapologetic of what they believe in their opinions. And these are the men that we need to lead the country and lead our children. I don't disagree with Neyo or Ice Cube. Certainly, I love them. I certainly love Ice Cube for his music. I grew up with that style and his music. My point is that I'm going to say the regular people, the people who really do live in real life, in real time with real people every day. I'm tired of these people being discounted and not taken seriously for the things that they are experiencing directly, again, every day, day in and day out with their children and their families in our communities. Neyo's, his voice is fine. What he said is fine, even if I disagree with him, which I don't. But the fact that we rely, I'm saying we Black people, we rely on this celebrity culture so much for us to take credence and we get our cues from, as if we don't have any internal mechanisms, maybe conscience or whatever, to guide us.
That's the role of celebrities, because
I don't see why we're so celebrity fascinated. I mean, again, there's some celebrities that I like. I'm not saying that, but I don't necessarily live and die by what Neyo or Ice Cube says or doesn't say.
I don't think any of us are. We're just saying because he has a platform, we're talking about, we're discussing. I don't think we're like whatever they say we have to do or follow. I mean, I don't think most people are taking that as serious.
Well, one thing, and I actually don't think it's only in the Black community. I think, this trans agenda has been pushed across the board, and we are seeing it, and I just wish more people would speak up and not be afraid. So one thing I do like about this with him, because a lot of times you hear these celebrities, they have a lot on their backs and people are telling them not to say anything, he did. Where are the rest of the people going to speak up against him? Because this is how you get rid of the cancel culture. You speak out anyway. Right.
Well, I just want to say to the public, look in your communities, look in your homes, look in your families.
I bet you can find some black men in particular, or some men who are stand up in your community, your homes directly, that you can look to as role models. I'm not saying you have to throw away your celebrities and your music, the culture that you like, those things. I certainly will not. The people that I do like, enjoy. But when I look around, I have people directly that I can point to, that I can directly connect with to help me make good decisions.
All right, I want to move on because we do talking in the same line of issues is the heir to Anheuser-Busch. So he was on TMZ recently, and it was an intense interview. So he this is the heir to the Anheuser-Busch fortune. It was appalled that the company that brought his family out used a transgender person, which was Dylan Mulvaney, as the spokesperson. He went on to say, "My ancestors would have rolled over in their graves." And the TMZ owner, I think his name is Harvey something, they were really pushing back against him. Take a look at this clip.
I just think for the majority of the drinkers out there, that to be advertising transgenderism on their beer is something they don't want to be a part of. I think again, I think they're the people, for the majority who drink beer, care about wholesome things, care about America, and believe that certain things in life should be kept private. And
transgenderism
is one of them.
Why? Why?
Why should that be kept private?
Yeah,
Because it's,
I mean, if I'm gay and he's gay, should we keep that private?
yeah, you know, you don't have to keep it private, but I don't think you should advertise it on a beer can. Do you? I mean, if I like,
we just looked at Bud Light Rainbow cans. I mean, the company advertised on there, and that seemed to be okay.
Yep. Well, I don't know. Why do you think then, you guys, that people are turning away and boycotting Bud Light now?
Prejudice.
Why?
Prejudice.
You believe it's prejudice?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely, it's prejudice. I mean, the same argument could have been made. Look, I remember my dad telling me stories that there were bars in LA that used to have signs that said "No dogs, no Jews." So there's been a history of prejudice in the country. People get over certain things. It's happened to Jews, it's happened to black people, it's happened to gay people, and it's happening to transgender people.
So here we have again Hollywood, mainstream, TMZ, you know, is a media company, sort of, and they're trying to equate this this gay LGBT with the civil rights movement, you know, with all Jews that were, you mentioned that was seen as, you know, discrimination against Jews was a big thing back in the day. Is it the same thing, Yana?
No, it's infuriating to me when they put those things on the same the same place. Like, no, those things are not the same at all. And stop equating that. That is it's insulting to say your sexuality, like what you do sexually, is the same thing as your race, or like, you know, who you were born with, or I mean, it's absolutely not the same, and it's degrading to the civil rights movement. It's degrading to everyone else who fought for freedoms. This is your choice of behavior sexually. Like, I agree with the owner that should be kept private. He should be more outspoken about it. And yeah, like, why put that? He's like, the other guy's like, well, he's gay. So and so, like, put that on the beer can. I'm gay. Okay, so like, what's the big deal? That's your private business.
So let me ask you, Shelley, because have we gone too far? I mean, you heard what he did say. He said that he had the rainbow cans. You know, we've opened the door to this type of advertising, marketing. You know, have we gone too far? Does he have a point?
He had a point with that when he brought out that Anheuser-Busch advertised the rainbow for the Pride Month, I guess it was, right? He had a point with that, you know, on his side, on his argument. The problem is that, or I guess I say part of it is that Anheuser-Busch, number one, has been sold to InBev, right? And it is a marketing capitalist, whatever, I'm just trying to make money, right? So if they're trying to make money, they're going to appeal to whichever market is going to pay them the bucks for their products. But they miscalculated this time, because the people who pay for their products are boycotting them, and they have now lost billions of dollars. Now, whether they can do it or should do it, those are two different questions. So they miscalculated hugely, as Pretty Woman would say, Julia Roberts would say hugely, bigly. So they miscalculated. So if they're talking about capitalism, they missed the buck.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, T? You saw how the owner of TMZ was pushing back at him. I'm gay, I'm Jewish, they were pushing back at me. This was a big thing in the back of the day. It's the same thing as discriminating against transgenders.
I'm not gonna say what I really want to say, but I will say that I just want people to wake up and use their common sense and see how these are different things. The color of my skin, the fact that and the guy is Jewish. The owner, he's of TMZ. I just learned he's Jewish as well, so of course he's going to bring that for emotionalism.
Mm-hmm.
They just appeal or try to target emotions, but I just think that they just all need to get in their own little group and do whatever they want to do with each other and leave people who have common sense alone.
And the thing is, it's like, so what does it have to do with the person being, so it's like with the person being Jewish, what does it have to do with that? So like you said, they bring it up to say, oh, that's because some other group was persecuted. So now by not buying this beer is the same thing as persecuting the Jews. Like that's not the same thing.
I'm going to make a distinction, I guess, between gay people and the transgender agenda, right? See, the agenda wants to push it and make you eat it and believe it, all of it, whomever you don't. Gay people just want to go about their lives and live their lives. The agenda wants us to accept, believe, acknowledge that they have the right to screw children. Right? No, we're not going to accept that. I don't give a damn if you're black, if you're Jewish, if that's anti-Semitic, so what? But your dick does not belong in children.
How did all of this trouble begin?
Living in America.
No, I just wanted to add, that makes me think. We have a Pride, the so-called Pride Month.
June.
Do we have a Jewish month? Do we have a Muslim month?
We don't know about it.
We certainly don't know. Well, right, but I'm just saying, why do we have a gay month and not all these other months before anything else?
We might be
Well,
talking about
this
holidays.
It just announced that there's going to be
Another holiday.
It's a handicapped lesbian day.
What?
Yeah.
No, that's for July. It's disability.
No, the disability lesbian gay or I'm done with it all. I'm done with it all. To me, it's like if this is where we're headed, get rid of it all.
Yeah, it's just
I don't want to see like History Month, Pride Month, nothing.
Yeah.
Get rid of it
We
all.
need to celebrate America.
Right. Yeah. Get rid of it all. We do have to move on. Speaking of America, we're moving on to illegal immigration. So this is all over New York City. Actually, it's funny because I had some friends who were just in New York City and they said the whole place stank of pee.
Mm-hmm.
So New York City's surging migrant population is set to double by June, meaning the city, June next of 2024, meaning the city will be on the hook for 100,000 homeless migrants, as costs are estimated to rise a high over $12 billion over the next 3 years. So New Yorkers will be paying it through taxes. The mayor Adams was just on TV today. He says we are past our breaking point, Adams declared in a dire address at City Hall, a day after the mayor pleaded with the feds and everyday New Yorkers to help mitigate the crisis. Adams' comments arrived in the wake of footage that showed a swarm of illegal immigrants sleeping on the streets outside the Roosevelt Hotel, which is now an intake center. This is crazy. So what's going on, guys? What is your thoughts on this, Shelley?
So I want to just do a really quick lesson again. When we hear words like government and taxpayer funded and crises and emergencies, these are reasons, and they sound good, these are reasons for the government to actually create a crisis or an emergency so that they can tax you more and you're going to pay more for people who don't belong here any damn way. right? Certainly not legally. They're not here. This money, these people are sucking the tits of New Yorkers. Seattle had a tent city, and anywhere else, Dallas,
Massachusetts
exactly.
complained
They
about
are
it.
sucking the tit, and millions of Americans. We talk about why don't we take care of home first? Well, why is this okay? Because we still have millions of Americans who don't have their needs met. And I'm not saying that government should supply their needs, but if we're using taxpayer funds in any kind of way, we certainly should take care of Americans first. That's what we should be doing. But guess what? All of you in New York and Massachusetts and Seattle, Baltimore, this is what you vote for. This is called voting has consequences. This is what you vote for. I don't care how it sounds. It sounds pretty, but your money, my money, I work hard for my money. I do. I don't call me Rosie the Riveter or whatever you want to do, but I'm sick of it. You look in the mirror. Stop with the man in the mirror. The migrants or the illegal migrants, because now they're calling them migrants. They're illegal. They are a consequence of you.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts, Yana, on this. How did we get here? I mean, these illegal immigrants are taking over cities.
It starts at the southern border. And all of yours, I recommend watching RFK Jr.'s documentary on the border. So look it up, RFK Jr. documentary, what's going on at the border. So the border, we know that President Trump tried to close the border and he was stopped. So it's porous, there are lots of gaps, and there are thousands of people. I think this past year it was over 300,000 people that crossed the border. And there are people from all over the world. So it's not just Mexicans, it's not just South Americans, it's everyone. There are Chinese, there are Ukrainians, there are people from Central Asia. They all, they know. I even heard a story of someone that from my hometown that has flown to Mexico, because Mexico doesn't have, you can just, you don't need a visa. So you can just fly in and go across the border. And so that's where it begins. Another really horrible thing what's going on over there is that children go missing at the border. I mean, they get abused right at the border. There are many unaccompanied children. They get raped, and they go missing. So 85,000 children were missing last year. Where are they? So what is going on with that?
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
Yeah, get your thoughts on this, T. I mean, it's not just a border town issue. It's now become a city issue. Baltimore City, Boston, Seattle. What are your thoughts here?
DeSantis, Florida, and Texas tried to warn us. They tried to warn us. That's why they sent them on up there so everyone else could feel it. But this is going to be the reason that Biden is not going to win in 2024. One of the reasons that Biden is not going to win in 2024, because I see the comments on social media, and Black people, white people, everybody, we're not having it.
Yeah.
We are saying this is some messed up stuff.
Well, interestingly enough, I
words.
hope you're right. Interestingly enough, Black people have been voting 95% Democrat even before.
They're still going to vote.
No, I'm saying, but they
don't
haven't even gotten their 40 acres in a mule, but they still vote the same way too. I'm just sick of it, sick of the dummies. I'm like KJ. I'm tired of these dumb voters. Let's have an educated voting or education test. Maybe call another poll test.
Yeah. I mean, and the crazy thing is they said that generally this time of year, the crossings, the illegal crossings go down. They've had a surge. And generally you would see them in Texas. They're in Arizona, which is even warmer than Texas. And they said the reason why they can't get through Texas is easy. See, the word is passed on. Governor Abbott has put all this stuff out there in the water. I think the Biden administration was suing them. So they can't get through Texas as easily. So now they're going through Arizona. And another thing that's kind of brought them here is Biden's new immigration policy. We talked about this on a previous show where he has this thing where they can go online via an app and submit that they're coming. And so this way they're not turned away. They're just brought in and they're moved to the interior, which probably some of these cities that are seeing this overcrowding. And it's literally an open border. And everybody knows about it. And Biden and them are not doing it. So this is what I want to ask you all, because this is clearly intentional.
Oh,
This is clearly intentional. Why do they want open borders?
Right.
Why?
votes, and it also gives them excuses and reasons to print more money and flush it into these cities where they're going, blue cities predominantly, and so that means you get more votes. The people are not dumb. The people who are coming here, no, they get more votes. They can find ways to do it. The people who are coming here are not dumb. If I was an immigrant and I wanted to go to a better place, I might try to come in illegally too. So they're not dumb because they're lured here with all kinds of welfare, benefits, incentives. So why not go to the places? That's where they're going to be fed, housed, clothed, given money, given stipends or whatever. Why not?
And they drop their babies off here. They have their babies
Right, the anchor
here.
babies.
Yeah, and we have children here who are homeless, even more homeless now since the pandemic. And now, what are we gonna do? We can't. Certain people can't even get benefits because they make too much money, which they don't make too much money because everything has gone up. And so these people are the ones who are taking the resources from us.
And I agree, it's like diluting America.
Mhm.
So like this idea of being an American, these people do not have that. They're coming here for their economic reasons. They're not here to be American and
The culture.
to fight for the American exceptionalism.
They're changing the culture.
Right, so they're changing the culture from within. So it's like eroding the culture. And so I think that's one of the reasons for votes. And eventually, of course, these people are coming in hopes to get these benefits. That's what they're looking for.
And not only that, but I believe they're trying to create a crisis. Because when we overload the system in this way, what you see here, what New York is doing, they're asking, pleading, begging for more governmental assistance. And so what they're doing is they say they're going to be this way. If they have all these immigrants, illegal immigrants come in and say, hey, we need federal assistance.
Right.
We need more welfare programs. This begins to create a welfare system bigger than what we had,
Exactly.
larger than what we had. And so eventually that leads to
Socialism.
And not only that, many of these immigrants are coming from countries that are not capitalist, right? So they're already aware, or they have an idea of what they can get
Right.
from the
That's
government.
what they
Exactly.
that's what they know. So
Exactly.
these immigrants, the way they view the government is that the government is supposed to be their provider.
Exactly.
And they're coming here for that. They're not coming here. Well, there are many that do work. I mean, obviously come here for work, but still in their mind, they come from socialist countries.
And that's what they're gonna make.
This is what they understand. And if they hear Democrats are here, Democrats will give you welfare, Democrats will provide for your child care, and this is what, free, they all want free healthcare, free education.
Right.
So this is what they're going to vote for.
This is why we have this idea that why do immigrants come here and vote the same way of the things that they just left? Well, this is why. You're lured here, you're given the same benefits, so why should it be any different?
Because they think in their countries it wasn't done right.
Yeah, we'll continue to follow this story, but I mean, it's actually scary also. Because I think there was a story out yesterday. They had people come across the border that had guns and things like that. I mean, who knows? Right? Drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, this is creating the government. The United States government is actually aiding in human trafficking and drug dealing.
That is
Exactly.
the worst part is the children.
Right.
I think. And in the Democrat Party, they claim to be the compassionate, the humane.
Oh no, they're sneaky.
Right, and they don't care that these people are dying trying to cross the border. Crossing the desert. They don't care that the children get kidnapped and abused. I mean, this is happening. If the border was secure, there would have been fewer people trying to cross. There would be fewer people stealing someone else's children and carrying these children, pretending that it's theirs.
None of this happens, two quick things. None of this happens without government facilitation. Human trafficking, the drugs, the cartels, the weapons. None of it happens without government facilitation. And number two, you know what I always say, my alliteration? Progressive policies pulverize the people they purport to protect. That's my alliteration.
Wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
comment, continue the comments, guys. We love to see the comments, and subscribe. Subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content. Subscribe to our YouTube. Share this broadcast on your social media, your Facebook, your Instagram. Share the link, Poppin' Politics on YouTube. Let's grow this movement together. All right, so we are moving right along to, actually, I didn't think we could get any sadder than the illegal immigration crisis and the kids being trafficked. Yes. But we actually can. Gold Star families. So the Morning Wire reports Monday, Gold Star families of service members killed during the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan offered testimony to members of Congress, accusing President Biden of lying to them about the circumstances of their loved one's death. Here's one Gold Star. They're just reading off the names of those who were killed. Take a look.
I ask that our children are honored, those injured, and those that made it home from HEIR. That they be honored by speaking the truth. Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover, Sergeant Nicole G., Sergeant Johanny Pachardo, Staff Sergeant Ryan Nouse.
So, I mean, this is really, it's heartbreaking to watch and have to understand what those families have gone through. We all know what happened in Afghanistan. We do, but the media is not even talking about it like it actually needs to be discussed. Take a look at this clip. This is a man, an officer who was wounded in Afghanistan, and he's expressing what happened when President Biden spoke to him about coming home.
Right away, like, remember him coming up to me. He leans over me and he's like this close to my face, and he's like, "What do you want?" I said, "What do you want?" Yeah, he said, "What do you want?" I said, "What?" He said, What do you want?" And I'm just like confused. I just got blown up. Just saw my friends die next to me. I'm like, I just want to be myself. And he's like, "Huh?" And my mom's furious. And she's like, "He said he just wants to be himself. He just wants to be him. He said he just wants to be me." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And they just continue to talk about everything but what just happened.
It's awful. And I want you guys to understand exactly what happened there, because he's talking to President Biden. President Biden comes over to him. He doesn't have an arm, and he only has his fingers showing through. And look, pull my finger. This is what you can't even do it. It's ridiculous. Pull my finger. That's what President Biden says to this man. He has no arm here, and he asks him to pull his finger. The last time he tried to shake his finger, like you're in high school and someone said, "Pull my finger," you wait to see what happens. It's ridiculous. What are your thoughts on this, Shelley?
I think he should have pulled his finger.
The middle finger.
Yeah, I think he should have just pulled his finger like this on his left hand. But it's akin to telling a blind man, "Look, don't you see that car coming?" You know, like it's ludicrous. Number one. Number two, these families have literally given the ultimate sacrifice from their loved ones dying in combat in military uniform, and to have the sitting, supposed to be president, focus on his own son. Number one, his son was not even lying. He's lying. I'm giving him a little bit of credit, slightly. I think he has dementia and he doesn't remember. I'm going to give him a slight credit.
Multiple times.
No,
he's been lying about this story many years.
He's used it for his own political aggrandizement. And his son, God rest his soul. But you know what? The Bidens are slime. and I mean that oozy green stuff that the children play with, they are slime. They stink. They are putrid. They are disgusting. They are literally, I'm going to call them the enemy within our borders.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this, Yana. I mean, what you saw, what is wrong with him?
There's a lot wrong with him. I mean, we know he's not well in the head. I mean, the most disturbing part is when he was like getting aggressive, saying, "What do you want?"
Yeah,
I mean, and it seems like he gets aggressive a lot with.
He was gonna sell them some
people.
Ukraine stuff.
No, yeah, I think so too. I think he was asking like a bribe for
Yes, exactly.
And we know he loves bribes from the whole alleged Hunter Biden
I mean,
stuff.
that's in his mind. I guess he has like
Yeah.
a program
Yeah.
running in his head, and
Yeah.
so he that's what he says. It just comes out. But the thing with Afghanistan, like, I'm amazed that people are not, or media do not talk more about Afghanistan, like the disaster.
That it was.
I mean, that is epic proportions. The disaster of Afghanistan. The fact that Americans were there for 20 years, served and died for 20 years, trying to create a new society there in Afghanistan, and failed and lost their equipment there. Now, apparently, also the Biden administration has been sending thousands of dollars or millions. I don't know the exact number, but regularly there's money going to the Taliban at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, still money going to them. Yeah, I do. Before we end this segment, I do want to. Okay, give me 1 second. I do want to end this. I want to say to veterans, but I love veterans. I know many veterans. I was just talking to some Vietnam and Korean War veterans 2 days ago. And to see these men, 80-something-year-old plus men, to see them in their senior years, the honor that they have for serving their country, the limbs that they have lost and that they talk about, and many of them have PTSD, right? And to, again, this piece of slime that's in the White House, he literally spits on these people's graves and the veterans who are still living, who have honor for serving their country. It's just unfathomable. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna get your thoughts, T.
I'm telling you right now that your President Biden is not real. He's definitely not real. I don't know what's going on with this guy. That motherfucker is not real. I'm telling you right now. So that's what I think about this whole situation. Because how could he not have emotional intelligence
To understand that.
Well, when you have the
He
mission,
doesn't.
you don't.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, he has a little alien that sits inside his head, controlling him, and that alien is
His wife.
that.
Well, I mean, we gotta talk. I mean, but
Did you do it?
No, I didn't.
whether it's dementia or whether it's intentional, we are in trouble that the president of the United States is doing.
The world is in trouble, and I have to say the Afghanistan situation is really close to my heart because I have been teaching Afghan refugees for the last year. Like the whole year, every day I see refugees that believed that their country will be a great country because of America. They grew up during the time when Americans were in charge, and like overnight, their life changed. They lost everything. Every day they're crying about it.
Still.
Yes, they lost their families. They can't. Many of them can never go back there. They everything. Obviously the possessions. They had to drop everything, and they had to come here and struggle and try to find a new life here. I mean, thank God they made it. Some didn't. Many didn't make it. Many died. But what I'm saying is that there is huge. Like we see the news. We saw the news last year. Nobody's talking about Afghanistan anymore. But there's so many repercussions. They're real human beings. Like the military personnel, the government officials that were there, then the Afghans that believed that Americans were going to save them. Right.
Yeah, and not only that, but and again, I just can't get off the way he lies about his son's death. It is so disgraceful. It is so
I think
disgusting.
he believes it
Because
now.
he's trying to compare it to the thought to these families who have lost their kids and his son did not even die that way.
But
he was in the
now.
hospital with his son
But he
when
believes
he died
his
of
own
cancer.
lie. He believes it. He's used it so much, and it has worked to his benefit, largely because the media doesn't check him on
No,
it.
they don't.
But so now he believes his own lie.
And then to bring it up at the most inconvenient time. Like this man, his best friend, he watched him die next to him, and he doesn't have an arm. Well, my son died
And
in the hospital.
And his
about your son right
his
now.
son didn't die because of failed policies.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah. I mean, it was, these people are victims of these failed policies, of the fact that they didn't know that the Taliban were coming, they were closing in, they didn't know early enough. Where's the intelligence?
I'm sorry, if I was that young man's mom, he said my mom was furious, I probably would have had to punch him in the face. I probably would have, like, real talk, I would have slapped him or slapped his hand when he tried to shake my son's hand or something, because you don't do that.
Yeah. And that's what they're doing. And this is what the Democrat Party does. They play on emotions.
Yeah.
They lie about this stuff. I mean, this is just a disgusting lie.
But they
that
do
he
it.
does.
It works. That's why
Yeah.
they keep doing it. It works on a large number of people, which is why we keep getting the same policies, kind of packaged differently, but the same policies, the same outcomes, and people keep not waking up enough, but they'll say, well, how did this happen? Why is this happening now? When your family becomes affected, all of a sudden, I want to take charge or I want to do something about it. But when you have people like us and others who are saying this almost on a daily basis, wake up, wake up. Oh, we're just bougie, or we don't know, we're not black enough, we lost our black card, and all kinds of foolishness.
And the mainstream media is complicit. And that's a driving force. I mean, many years ago in our parents' age and grandparents' age, you at least had the media who would investigate this and who would report on it. Now we have a complicit media, mainstream media, that are just going along with these lies, these misinformation. They're pushing it out there. They're not asking the tough questions. And now we have a very uninformed public. But that's why we ask you guys to please continue to share this broadcast. Share our show with your family, with your friends, on your social media, because we are here to hold the politicians, those in power and leadership, to account.
On both sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not just Democrats.
Yes. All right. So that moves us right along. Speaking of the mainstream media, we're now talking about the race war that they seem to be pushing. So we're talking about the battle of the races. And we're starting off with this Alabama dock brawl.
The brawl for it all.
Yeah, the brawl for it all. So I don't know, you guys have to have seen this all over the news, this fight in Alabama at the riverboat dock. Riverboat fight brawl is what they're calling it. Take a look. Here's a clip of what actually occurred.
Just in case you're
So that what occurred. Just in case you guys don't have any background, we want to talk about it. So basically, it was a situation. We've all been, I assume you guys have been on like a dinner boat cruise. Apparently, this dinner boat cruise was coming into the dock, and these people, the people that were rushed, the dock worker, had their boat there, and they refused to move it. So the dock worker moves the boat, or at least tries to move the boat, and the owners of this pontoon boat beat him up, jumped him, pretty much.
Right.
And it was caught on camera. And but now CNN did a story on this today, interviewing the police chief there in Alabama, and they're trying to get this to be a hate crime. Hate crime. Do you feel like it should be classified as a hate crime, Shelley?
Okay. No, initially I don't. I don't think it should be. Not initially. I don't think it should be. I think the initial fight had nothing to do with race. It had to do with drunk people where there's alcohol. There tends to be some drunk people or over drinkers, drunk people on a pontoon on the boat, and they just were not listening to the security worker or whatever his status is. So I don't think it had anything to do with race. I do, however, agree with, again, this initial battle, right? This initial brawl, when they jumped this man, the guy, I'm gonna say the white guy, not necessarily because it's racial, but this white guy came out like a bullet, right? And just sucker punched him really, or tagged him. Then the people come running down, and of course they're calling that young guy that swam across the river. I mean, look, first of all, I have to be honest. I have been laughing all week, right? I've been laughing all week. I laugh because a lot of the comments, you all out there, you are creative. Oh my God, you are comical with your comments and all of your memes that they created so quickly. But the initial one had nothing to do with race. Then the other two later battles, oh my gosh. Like my grandmother would say, them Negroes went down there and tore up that damn place. Just tore up the riverboat. And I'm not talking about Negroes just because they're black. I'm talking about how people act.
What are your thoughts on it, T? I mean, do you think it should be classified as a hate crime?
Oh no, it was never a hate crime. It was just that's what you get. Like you shouldn't try to jump anyone. There was actually one poor little boy, white boy that tried, and they pushed him off. Exactly. And he disappeared after that. But I'm just glad that no guns were involved. That's what I was thinking, because white people love their guns.
Excuse me.
I mean,
black people do too.
Black people do too, but white people love their guns, and especially in Montgomery, Alabama. So I'm just glad that no guns came out.
What are your thoughts on it?
Who's being charged with the hate crime?
Well, CNN was trying to get the owners of the boat charged with a hate crime, because apparently now new data or new testimony has come out and said that one of the white guys that owned the boat called the dock worker the N-word. So again, I don't know if that still doesn't mean that was that's why they jumped him.
I mean, we weren't there. I don't know what was being yelled. What were people were saying, yelling? What was there? Why it exploded like that? So I mean, I don't know if this is a beginning of a race war.
I think the media is fueling it that way.
Yeah,
and I want to give a shout out to my daughter, because we were watching it together, some of the part, and we were laughing. And I asked her, I said, what do you think? Tell me, what's your reaction? One thing she said this herself. Why did the women have to get into it?
But the women had to get into it because the white women jumped in.
Well, we were talking about it.
So of course the men aren't.
But she was saying in general.
Of course the men aren't going to hit. Well, some of them did hit the women. So the women had to go. The chair. But some of the women had to fight the women off. The other women off.
No, we talked about that. But the point was that when you see these men, whoever they are, when you see men throwing down like that, I'm not going to try to jump in.
I am.
You say you are?
I am.
No, you're the lady.
I will fight though. I'm an Aries.
Yeah, I would too.
Right, see?
I conservative women. I told y'all a couple minutes ago.
Conservative women will fight.
But my point is that when you see men throwing down like that, I got it. The women did jump in. You're right. So other women came in. But typically speaking, women, when you get involved in those things like that, you tend to escalate it. And then the people on the boat that were edging them on, they were comical to a degree, but then again, they just acted on, and then the other workers got off the riverboat, and then it had calmed down by then. They came and initiated it again with the pontoon owners.
So there was so many things
going
on in this fight with the church, and it was multi-generational because
Yes.
there was one generation over there, then the old heads came with the chair. Like it was just so much going on.
It was.
Like, the reason why I said again, I don't think the activity that day, I don't think was racist or a race riot. But the way the media is playing this up, and the way that we're seeing other incidents come out, it feels like even before this, it feels like we're being pushed into this racial narrative.
That is true.
We have another clip here. Take a look at this. This is a teacher. This viral clip is of a teacher, and she is talking about her sister who is dating was dating a white man. Take a look.
Y'all already know why I'm having a bad day. My sister is a cave dweller smasher. In my house. On this land? I just want to let y'all know that I'm about to do everything in my power to f this relationship up. And it's going to be so fun and so satisfying to watch.
She had text messages that went back and forth about this. I think she sent those to her sister. And she also posted on Twitter about it. This woman is a teacher. She's an elementary school teacher. And she's just blatant racist, just talking about how she doesn't want her sister. Here we are here. Yes. Oh, this is when people found, she initially talked about this and posted this. Yes, y'all have found my job. They told me to delete the post, but my job is safe since I did not directly wish harm on all white people. They had laughed and told me to watch what I say and I'll be good to go. Being a great teacher pays off very well when they know your true self. Yeah, right. But her job did actually fire her. So they did eventually fire this woman for the comments that she made. But I mean,
what did she say that was wrong?
She said, well, one of the, I think the most, I guess, egregious thing that she said is that she said she asked her boyfriend to come and kill the white man.
Yeah.
She said that.
Yeah, she said
in one of the, and she posted, like, the most amazing thing is that she posts this, like, she herself posted this. This is not somebody, screenshot, made a screenshot of what she said. No, she posted
Well,
that.
people are posting a lot of themselves doing the same thing.
Right, but it's like how blatant, you're like, why would you? That means that she's absolutely has no fear.
She doesn't, and I believe her. They first told her, don't worry about it, just whatever, watch your language. I believe her. She doesn't have any fear. So why should she have? They only fired her because many people started pressuring the school district or her principal, whoever.
I would say it's double standard that, a black woman can say something like that and then post it and think it's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Because if it were a
It's
white person, of course they would not have been able to get away with it.
oh, no way.
I mean, they'll go to jail. A
Alabama
white
thing.
person would go to jail for this, for even saying something like that.
Well,
Or attempted
black
murder.
people, we're gonna have a new holiday next year. August the 5th. It's gonna be a new holiday. August 5th, the Alabama. We're gonna have a new holiday. I bet you it's gonna be celebrated. I think what was that? Montgomery, Alabama. They're gonna have a new cultural holiday. And in about 3 or 4 years, maybe 5, they're gonna have a new national holiday. It's called and what was the song? They have a new song.
Lift every voice and swing.
Lift every cheer and swing. Yeah, lift every cheer and swing.
I don't think so because
But they seem to be handling it a little differently though. Now it would be one thing if they had like the police chief or somebody that's like playing up this stuff, but the police chief, he was like, I saw him on the news today, and he was just like, we're not at this point creating it. He's a black man.
Yeah. He
was like, we're not doing this as a hate crime. We don't see that. He also said he went in. He's talking about how this is in Montgomery, Alabama. We're not about that here. It seems like they're handling it a little differently.
The professionals are, but just like we talked about Neyo and celebrity culture earlier, the celebrities online, the what is that? Charlamagne the God, his show, whatever that's called,
Breakfast
The Breakfast Club. They love this. They are celebrating this. They're calling this, the Black Revenge. And then they brought in the fact that this doc has some historic ties to the slaves being traded. Y'all mark my words. If it's not next year, black people are going to have a new holiday, and certainly in Montgomery, Alabama.
To your point, where they're treating it differently, none of the crew was fired. No one was fired from
on the riverboat crew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but going back,
it should be fired.
No, it shouldn't have been. Going back to the teacher, I didn't know that she said she was gonna have her boyfriend kill the guy. It makes a difference to me because there are some people who don't believe in interracial relationships.
Some people, who are those people?
Some people in the United States that are black people who believe that you should stay with your own. And white people believe that you should stay with your own. So I understand it and I get it, and I don't mind it either. But when it comes to being harming people and hurting people, no, you shouldn't do that. Just stick to your own kind.
Yeah, I mean, you can think what you want to think. You can say what you want to say in your own home. But when you go out and you put this stuff out on public social media pages and things, you may get fired because this is a it's a racist. I mean, you guys think it's something? Is it canceled? Is this considered? Oh, we shouldn't cancel her for this.
If she had not said like she was sort of egging on her boyfriend to come and kill this man, I can see them firing her for that. But I'm going to stand on the First Amendment. I don't think when conservatives do it, certainly not when the left does it. When they cancel people because they are expressing their opinions, they try to look with Neyo, Ice Cube, and many others. No, you don't have to agree. You can have your own thoughts. What she said to sort of like a hitman for hire, now that's illegal.
Right. Yeah, but she started from saying something like, "I'm gonna make sure to like fuck up this relationship," and it's like
that's not a crime either.
It's not, but it's like, I mean, look at her character though. Okay, you can disagree with. I see your point. You can disagree with people's choices of who if this is your family. Sure, she might have preferences of who she wants to see her sister with, but then she goes and she says, I'm gonna fuck up this relationship, and that's what she said.
I'm not saying that she has great character. I hope her sister disowns her. Myself. I hope her sister would disown her.
So she works as an educator, and she uses that kind of language.
Please, educators use all kind of language. What's that to do with it?
I mean, well, my opinion is not
on a public platform like that.
Talking about somebody killing somebody?
Absolutely. You got me started.
I'm not a teacher.
It doesn't matter when we still right. We curse on here. Again, conspiracy stuff. We curse on here. Let's be honest. We curse on here. Oh, please. We curse on here.
Person can say whatever they want to say, no matter their.
That's different. No,
okay, Shirley, you can have your opinion about it.
I do. And just because you allow it, I do. And we curse on here, and then we pretend like, we're going to be so conservative and pure, like we don't. Come on, get a grip.
So I ain't going to go on. Yeah. But you got people.
I can't.
People who say all this stuff about how I'm this and I'm that. We're not talking about where we work. This woman is a teacher, and she doesn't. We know where she's posted where she works. She posted where she works. She posted where she afterwards. No, before she did. She posted where she worked. She mentioned on her timeline that she's a teacher.
Yeah.
But you don't hear many people talking about, my job is this.
I agree with you on that.
This is what I'm saying.
A teacher can say whatever.
Right. I'm saying on the First Amendment, but she put her job, she put her place of business in liability. I got you. I agree with that. I agree with that. But I'm just saying because she's a teacher.
It's not about being Puritan. It's about you have a job that you are supposed to represent a certain way.
I said that she put her job on the liability because they got questions.
So for every job there are standards. And I'm sorry, I have read Booker T. Washington.
I've read him too.
And he has told that. Why are you yelling? Seriously.
Please.
And he has actually he has educated other teachers, and he has said to watch your language, speak properly, be proper in everything that you do outside of school.
I get that, but don't pretend like we don't break that mantra sometimes.
I'm not saying I'm perfect. I didn't say I'm perfect.
We're teachers.
There's a standard. And I can have an opinion that
I
there should be a standard.
And
so there's multiple things that were wrong about this lady. And the fact that she said to kill the white man is not the only thing that's wrong with her. There's lots of things that's wrong with her. And I'm glad that she's not.
She put her job out there and they got rid of her. Absolutely.
I certainly don't think
But I don't think she should have been canceled. If she hadn't said all of that, I don't think she should have been canceled. Let me say it that way. if she had not advocating for this man to be killed.
Oh, so
or
you're
named
saying
the job.
that you believe she should have kept her job except for when she said she killed that guy.
And mention the job site, yes.
I agree.
Mention the job site.
Mention where she worked, that she's a teacher. She shouldn't have mentioned
No.
that.
The name
What
of the
I'm
school.
saying is, let's say she didn't mention. If her job found this social media, do you all believe, if outside of her saying the thing about killing somebody, she should have kept her job as a teacher?
Yeah,
She
I
should
did.
not have fired her.
I did. That was on her time. That was on her time. If she didn't mention her place of work, had nothing with, let's say, logos or whatever. I'm just saying. No, she should be able to say what she wants on her time, on her opinion.
No, it's not a racist. She wants
She's a racist.
She wants to keep her family.
You know,
she's a racist.
She probably is. I mean, she said
So you want to hire a racist?
We do hire racists. We might not know it.
You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
So is it okay for a teacher to be openly racist?
Those are her opinions.
Oh, so you agree? It is okay.
That's her. I agree with her to say it.
That doesn't even make sense. She is a racist.
Okay,
So do you believe
she has every right to express her
that it's
opinion?
okay for a racist to be a teacher?
She had. Yeah, there's probably many of them now.
But that doesn't mean that just because there are. The question
So how are we going to? Okay, so answer the question. How are you going to weed them all out? What are you going to?
That's not the question.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
it is. We were asking. No, not asking a question.
Oh my God.
We're not gonna be able to hear anybody right now.
It doesn't make sense. All right. So again, well, just in case anyone from my job is watching, I do not advocate racism. Okay.
None of us advocate.
You do.
No, I said she has the right to say it.
We just asked you a
would
question.
Oh my God.
So
How did all of this trouble begin?
Living in America.
It depends on what, because when we look up the
It's
definition,
an easy question.
when we look up the definition of racist, it's someone who thinks they're
Superior
racist
to
superior. I don't mind that. I don't mind if a white person thinks that they're racist superior because they may think that they're racist superior. As a black person, I think that I'm racist superior. So yes,
Who gives a damn?
I don't care.
Okay. And so you don't care too if you have a teacher that's racist.
No, I don't. Why? Honestly, I don't. I mean, who gives a damn? What difference does it make when they're being racist? What effect does their job? What effect is their being racist? How?
We're seeing it already in school with these teachers with agendas. If you have somebody
Agendas.
what do you think this woman's agenda was?
For her sister not to fuck a white man.
Right.
That was her only agenda.
I don't think she's teaching.
I mean, the way that she didn't even say white man. What did she say?
A cave dweller. She called him a cave dweller.
Like she has all these derogatory terms, and she had some other word for him, and so she teaches Americans. Like is this with America that we
Let me tell you something.
That's my
Let me tell you something. If I found out a teacher of my son was calling black people apes and said she
why do you have to use the white people calling apes? Why can't a black person calling a white person that?
Because I'm trying to show. I'm telling you, I'm black. And if I had a teacher who was calling with black kids apes, I would not want my son to be teaching under this woman. It's racist. You guys don't even make sense. We're moving on. Speaking of this, let's see if you guys agree with this. So, South Africa. This is another thing where we have these South Africans were at an event a couple weeks ago, I think it was last week, yelling, "Kill the white farmers."
What you make that face?
This is in South Africa. Again, multiracial elections. The apartheid government of South Africa may have ended with multiracial elections in 1994, but ethnic tensions have not abated. Instead, the founder of the radical economic freedom fighters, now I asked T and Shelley, they may want to join, Julius Malema has continued to grow political favor in his country, where he celebrated the 10th anniversary of his party with a call to kill white people.
Oh,
Now, he did come out and say he didn't actually mean kill white people.
Oh,
He
that's
actually,
what?
he actually just advocated for the eradication of them. So maybe he doesn't want them dating his daughter.
He probably doesn't if he's talking about killing them and eradicating them.
Even Elon Musk got into this. He commented on Twitter. He said the tech entrepreneur replied, because someone posted about this, so that he commented about it and said he called out the president of both the Republic of South Africa and the African National Congress. They are openly pushing for genocide of white people in South Africa. Why do you say nothing? So again, I mean, this is where we were kind of starting off with at the beginning of the program, or the beginning of this segment. We have this kind of culture. If racial tensions are high and this racial division is being pushed and just curated amongst in America, and now it seems like it's pushing out internationally. So, I mean, what are your thoughts? Yana, I'll start with you.
About Africa, this has been happening throughout Africa, this kind of rhetoric, and white farmers have been pushed away. But actually, I've watched videos of, I think it was in Zimbabwe or some other African country where they did leave the farmers, and several years later, the Africans were begging them to come back.
Well,
because they left the businesses. Nobody was there to run these farms. They were owners. They were landowners. They were giving jobs to the locals. So this is really stupid. With these comments, this is the same kind of socialist mentality, similar to classist mentality in Europe. They were doing that with the lower classes. Were pushing away the land owners. And so this is race, motivated by race. So good luck to South Africa. I hope these white farmers do leave, because they're farmers. They're actually feeding the country. So yes, good luck. I hope we'll see what happens to South Africa when they do leave.
And look here, we do have a photo of what's going on. Here's one South African farmer who was brutally beaten up. Just over this whole rhetoric going on there. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Is she a farmer?
Yeah, she's one of the white farmers. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sad to see that the old white farmer being beaten like that. But I do, given the history of South Africa, I do believe that they should take their country back, but without killing people. Like, they should be in control and not have the colonizers come and take over their country. So I believe that that's really the main thing. They want their country back, and I believe they should have that.
They're no longer colonized.
Say why?
They have been colonized.
They're not. The farmers are not colonized.
They're from their lineage, the Boers, the white Africans, and the Dutch people. This is what they're saying. No, absolutely not. Don't look at me, KJ, like that. Wait for me to respond. But absolutely not. They do not. They should not be advocating the killing of white people, whether they're farmers or not.
This is you guys don't. What do you think is going to happen when they tell them to leave?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's going to be war.
You said it's going to be a war.
She said she hopes he doesn't get there.
I don't want it to get to where it is.
Yeah, but that's not realistic. If you
What
want
if they don't
the colonizers to leave,
But they were born, but these people were born there. They were born in
They were born there. I'm saying, but their history is from Germany and
So that's not saying about the United States, then we all should leave.
I didn't say they should leave, number one. Number two, I said it's wrong for them to advocate killing white people, whether they're farmers or not, okay? That's what I said.
And I said they should take their country back.
And how does that look?
Where
Taking the country back.
Where they have their own. We don't have the white people taking over and doing all the things that South Africans in their country have been or should do.
Yeah, but how does it look?
So yeah, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a bloodshot.
If somebody came here today and told me I had to leave, my house that I paid for is paid for, they tell me I have to leave the country, it's gonna be bloodshed.
Right. It is going to be bloodshed. So their best course, hopefully, to reduce or minimize or zero out any bloodshed, they're going to have to find ways to live together. Just like we have to do here in America, in Montgomery, Alabama. So we got to find ways to live together. Again, the racial tensions, The race issue, if you will, is being compounded. It's being, made bigger, again, larger by the media. And they're gonna, this is what the Democrats, I believe, or the leftists, let me say leftists in general, progressives, they're gonna use this in America, certainly for 2024, and all over Europe and Africa and any other country. They're gonna, this has worked for them for so long, why stop now?
This includes China, because I know China's right behind them.
And what's gonna happen, most of these people will leave, and then South Africa is gonna be begging the EU for handouts.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. We don't know.
I'm just saying, that's what happens when African people do not do politics.
So
right.
Africans can't handle their own country. They can't
They-
take control
yes, they can.
successfully in their own country.
But that doesn't involve kicking out people that were born there.
No, but I'm
That's-
saying,
if
so you're
they
saying
do
once
that-
the white people
yes,
leave,
Yes,
they can't.
if farmers leave, of course, yes, that's what's going to
because
happen.
black people can't.
Not
They can't
because
farm.
black
Farm.
people
We're not
can't.
farming
That's a bad policy. That is wrong
Kicking
policy.
people out.
That's not because they're African. It's
You
because
just said kick
it's
them
not
out
because
anyway.
they're Africans. It's because they're not being smart about
So
their politics.
this is, again, I think Yana said it earlier. This has been going on in Africa, not just in South Africa. This has been going on in Africa, Central Africa for not even decades, thousands of years. So this problem has been, and it's only coming to a boiling point now.
I mean, sometimes you get what you want. So, like you said, I don't know. I'm not very.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Well, yes, I know you do that.
Well, I like to.
I can't.
I don't know. I'm not really very versed on the politics and things there, but definitely something to look into and read. And I don't like to see bloodshed. I don't like to see civil war. And I just don't like. I don't personally believe you should treat people differently just because of the color of their skin.
Absolutely.
You can think how you want to think. You can do in the privacy of your home.
Yeah.
But if you have a job that is dealing with the public, and you
That was the last story.
and you make statements that are racist, then you need to be handled accordingly. Especially if you're not an owner of the job. So that's just my 2 cents.
The moral of that story is be the owner of your own job. You can say what you want.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You don't own your own job.
And don't live in South Africa.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
No, I didn't.
All right, we already have come to the end of the show.
Already?
Yes, thank you so much for watching. Any final thoughts, ladies?
Oh, there we go. Final thought, I want to chime into what T said earlier. Not only white people like their guns, black people too, and particularly black women. We've been the largest growing segment of gun owners, legal gun owners, lawful gun owners for the last 3 years or so. So get your guns, get educated, get training, and love your gun.
Shelly E. wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Okay.
Extra stuff.
T.
My final thoughts are, Lord, there's nothing wrong with loving who you are and being authentic to who you are within yourself, your color. There's nothing wrong with wanting your family to stay the color that we were born with, and if you want to mix, that's on you, mix. But there's nothing wrong if you want to keep your family pure.
All right. Yana, any final thoughts?
Yes. My final thought, don't be racist.
All right. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. As I mentioned, continue the conversation by checking us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and subscribe. Share this broadcast. I want to get your thoughts on what we've talked about tonight. Any of the segments that you feel passionately about, or you just want to provide your perspective, comment on this broadcast and share it and subscribe. Again, we are independent media, and each time you subscribe, it makes our voice that much stronger. We are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. You can also check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, count your blessings and live a life of purpose.
Love is love.
Good night.